phase is production, the context is personal, and the challenge is putting media back in context. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Bruno.
Alright, thank you everybody. Journalism's come a long way in the last few years. We've gone from having to go hunt people down on foot to get their statements, to be able to call people thousands of miles away, and with the internet, having all of that information at our fingertips. But the things that we write are still disconnected. Our words are spread across Word documents and paper scattered across your desk that don't even know about each other, let alone the information on the internet. So what we sought out to build, our vision, was a system where, as a writer writes and does what he already does best, that information comes to him. Because in the 24-hour news cycle, journalists are pressed for time. Sometimes they don't have all the bandwidth they want to do all the research that they want to be able to do. So let's take John N, for example. John is a reporter with the Kenya National Daily, the biggest newspaper in Kenya, and he recently penned this article about corruption. We see there. And when he's writing these articles about corruption, he's looking at the same people, the same biographical information, their histories, the companies, and he doesn't have time to dig into the juicy details. Are there any recent lawsuits in other countries? What are some business dealings that might look sketchy to look into? And just look into the evidence that matters, which for John might be locked away in databases that are hard to find and trapped in those countries that he might not even know exists. So we sought out to build a tool that helps reporters like John. And what we built is News Clips. News Clips is a contextual research editor that gathers relevant data from the web and brings it to your fingertips in an easily digestible dashboard, as you can see there, to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks from your research. So let's see what we actually built. So you see there, if you're a reporter, you'll go to newsclip.se. You have stories that you've been working on, investigation that you might have been doing, but we'll get to the information contained in that in a moment. If you're working on a new investigation, all you have to do is get an article you recently wrote, maybe a paragraph or just a draft or some notes you jotted down. Put it into the system, and with one click of a button, save and analyze, our system finds the entities relevant to you, the people, organization, companies. As you can see, we get biographical information from Wikipedia. And we get specialized database information, like open core information on company filings and relative to corporations. And we also leverage OpenNuco in Kenya to get information specific to business dealings between the companies and the politicians there. As you can see here, you can edit cards. So if you learn something new, you have something you want to preserve, you can put that in there and store it away for later use. We do away with irrelevant cards. So if you look there, if you want to add a new card, maybe there's someone you missed, someone you want to look more into, you just put in their name, Angela Merkel, it pulls their biographical information, runs them through these databases, and sees if there are any hits. And that's News Clips. What we're really seeking out to do is bring all that information to you, so if you're in a newsroom, you don't have to duplicate effort that other researchers might have done. And if you're John, and you write about corruption a lot, the next time you're writing about recent development, you don't have to do the heavy lifting that you already did. You know what these companies' backgrounds are. That all comes to you, and you see what's changed since the last time you looked into it. And as a news organization, you build institutional memory. So if you're Al Jazeera, all of your reporters have access to each other's information. So you can collaborate, and if someone's picking up a new beat, you onboard them like that. So what does that mean for John? We ran his article through our system, and we instantly found out that the $12,000 he investigated was part of a larger ring of $600,000 in bribes. And the company didn't even have a license to do business in Kenya. But John might have not known about this with 20 minutes left to submit to the editor, but we bring the information to him so nothing falls through the cracks. We're News Clips, and these are the facts that you were looking for.
We have a few moments for questions. I'm just going to ask the team to come away from the podium. We're going to have the other team set up while you guys are answering questions. We have a few moments for questions.
So the information that the reporter got, would that be public as well, or is that just for internal use?
So currently we're focusing on internal use, so reporters can build up their own personal data banks to make beat reporting easier, and for organizations able to share that information that they might want to hold close to the chest, their own perspectives, their own data sources, their own personal sources.
Okay, let's thank the News Clips team again.
tanks of Red Bull did you guys do?
How many what?
Red Bull tanks.
Oh, about 3 per minute. Thank you, everybody.